Hello, I'm Gerard Fernando, the CEO of Zone24x7. We are based in San Jose, California, in the midst of Silicon Valley. We started the company in 2003 October, so we are 18 years old now. Effectively, we have the headquarters in San Jose, California. We do most of our technology development in Colombo, Sri Lanka. A lot of people will ask me, why did you want to start this company in Colombo, Sri Lanka? And by the way, we started in the middle of the war. Why did you want to start this organization in the middle of the war? One thing I want to say is that I'm from Sri Lanka, from Negombo Kochikade area, a coastal town in the west. Effectively, my mom told me, do something for Sri Lanka. That's one reason, obviously. I can blame her. But prior to starting Zone24x7, myself and two others, one Mr. Aziz Valiani, who was the CEO, and we had a CFO, one Mr. Dave Lacursi from Rochester, New York. We started a company called @POS. That was to do with signature capture technology, with payments and everything else. And the company was acquired by Symbol Technologies from Long Island, New York, and Symbol itself was acquired by Motorola Solutions, which was split into two sections. One of them was acquired by Google, and the other section continued to work as Motorola Solutions. And that company was acquired by Zebra Technologies. I'm happy to say that they are still doing great work, and that company is also in existence in Colombo. Now people will ask me, why did we start this company? Why did you come to Colombo? Aziz and myself and Dave, we had a major investor and a venture capital company who had funded us, and they told us, look, you got to go to India to get great talent. Sure enough, Aziz and myself, we went to Bangalore, we went to Bombay, we went to Pune, and one weekend while we were there in India, we thought, why don't we pop into Sri Lanka? Sure enough, we came to Colombo. We met some great industrialists and leaders of the country, I would say, and they encouraged us to come to Sri Lanka. And as a result, Mr. Valiani said, oh, let's go to Sri Lanka. That's really what prompted us to start how we came to Sri Lanka. The whole premise was that initially when we came here, that was even more scary, because this towards the dot-com time, late 1990s. That time bombs were going a lot more worse. There was very little tourism in Sri Lanka because people didn't come here because of tourism, because of the bombs and so on. So as a result, we came to the hotels. There was a hotel called Trans-Asia Hotel, happens to be the lakeside, Cinnamon Lakeside today. And the 2 days Cinnamon Grand was called Oberoi. We conducted all our interviews at Oberoi. And eventually we hired a great team, and I'm happy to say that those guys are doing a superb work. They are really working for some other companies, holding very high senior level positions. So that was great. But now we may ask, well, what's Zone? Zone's differentiation is that we are privately held. Sachin and I own the company 100%. We can make our own decisions without having to ask anybody. Our most valuable assets are our associates. My management team are the best who can really make decisions, and as a result, we want them to make the decision rather than some VC who doesn't know anything about the country or the company to come back and make some decisions. So whole premise is that we want to create and generate great associates who will be considered experts throughout the world. We tend to do everything. We do embedded technologies, we do hardware, we do software. We also do software in many forms, Java to security software, Windows, and so on. We have many clients throughout the United States, and they are doing great work. But our experts, our customers, our associates should really make sure that they go to our client sites and they provide really good value-added services. And to make that happen, we want to instill that DNA within our company, where all our associates are encouraged to learn an in-depth knowledge of what they claim to be, what they are going to talk about. So for example, we do ML work, machine learning, we do AI, and a lot of other, all these buzzwords are there, but we want them to have a good in-depth knowledge of those technologies. So for example, how do you define, I want to make sure our guys are really experts in the field. So when you talk about expert, there's a famous author, one Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote many books, and one of the books he wrote was called Tipping Point. On the Tipping Point, he talks about experts. An expert, somebody to be considered expert, has to have 10,000 hours of experience. So for example, when you're talking about Beatles, when they were playing music, prior to becoming famous, they were playing music in Hamburg, Germany. Lots of long hours, and they got that experience, so when they became prominent, it was a piece of cake for them. If you look at Steve Wozniak, who was a co-founder of Apple, the guy knew inside out of chips, and he knew how to get his hands dirty and did some work. Bill Joy, who was the co-founder of Sun Microsystems. So you can go on and on. Some of the experts, these are examples of experts. I want Zone associates to be true experts. So having that 10,000 hours of experience is the most important thing. Some guys who don't have much experience, they'll run back and say, I'm working for this company who has 10,000 people. That doesn't mean anything. They are mere cog in the wheels. They won't be able to make any decisions. They don't have enough knowledge base. They are going to be just another cog in the wheel. They're going to go along with the machine. However, Zone associates are very, very different. They are a unique breed of people, and I think that's my vision, to see Zone go to the next level. We are cultivating some great people within the company. So I want to thank, of course, Sachin for really supporting us to go to the next level. Then of course, let me recognize Mr. Valiani and Dave Lacassi, who also encouraged us to go to Sri Lanka, and I'm happy that we are here. So thank you very much. Take care.
The answer to this question is pretty simple. This is how Zone 24/7 can distinguish ourselves in the eyes of our customers and provide value to these customers. How can Zone 24/7 be competitive in this environment? For us, the term innovation doesn't simply mean an engineer building a quick and dirty application or gadget all by himself or herself. With today's unlimited access to resources, information resources, as well as the open source phenomenon, engineers from many countries where there is a modicum of stability and infrastructure can participate in the software development revolution. How can Zone 24/7 be competitive and distinguish ourselves in this exceedingly crowded environment? We cannot simply take some open source code and slap together a solution that will, we hope, convince our clients. Our policy at Zone is therefore to use open source code where appropriate, but far more important is for us to go through the regular development life cycle and build solutions that are valued and required by the customer. So innovation therefore involves the following steps, in my opinion. We put together a multidisciplinary team of software engineers and, where appropriate, hardware and design engineers, as well as, very important, marketing and business analysts. Each discipline needs to be thoroughly conversant in their respective areas with respect to platforms, tools, and libraries. One example is this. We are now embarking on a project on AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality. So these particular engineers are fully conversant in the various engines available for game development and 3D solutions in these in this area. We also expect our engineers to be fully conversant and expertly in the area of underlying principles, algorithms, as well as mathematics and physics. Where necessary, we also reach out to external consultants in specific areas. We have another project that we are embarking on now, which is in the area of computer vision for medical purposes. So we have put together a team of clinicians who with the knowledge in the specific areas of physiology. So this is how we do innovation at Zone. Now I want to give a few examples of how our innovation program has led to solutions that are currently deployed at client sites. The first slide is a graphical illustration of counting traffic in a retail environment. By counting traffic, we mean counting the number of people exiting, customers exiting and entering a store or a shop. But we also we don't simply take this blindly like counting the number of human bodies. We also need to eliminate employees from the count, because that kind of overcounting is unacceptable. So that's slide number 1, shows a graphical illustration. Slide number 2 is the actual deployment of this in a real store, in a retail store, and you can see it is somewhat complex. So our team have the deep knowledge of the camera, sensor technology, computer vision, machine learning, video compression, as well as a deep understanding of human behavior. Another example is in slide number 3 of a solution we are putting together. In this one, we have this is to do with intrusion detection in the area of security. So we want to be able to provide information to the security staff as to how this, if there are intrusion, provide it quickly enough within a few seconds. Every second counts in this area. So, and slide number 4 shows a real deployment of this in an environment in the United States. So I hope this gives you an idea of how we do innovation at Zone. Thank you.